Today we've got something incredible. We've got a smartphone with not one, but two 6,000 mAh batteries inside of it. This is a record holder, and we are going to put it through its paces. The phone in question is the Doogee BL12000. And you got that right, that means there is a 12,000 mAh total capacity in there. That is over 4 times what we've seen on the iPhone X. Underneath the smartphone we've got a box which contains not only a screen protector for the front of the phone, but also a protector for the back, which comes with its own separate wiping cloth. Very strange move here. We've got a limited warranty card, emphasis on the word limited I guess in this case, and we've also got a micro USB to full-size USB adapter. At the bottom we've got the charging brick and the SIM ejector tool. And one of the more impressive aspects of this phone, as well as that huge capacity, is its fast charging capabilities. This charging brick and this phone support 12 volt, 3 amp fast charging, which, if true, would be pretty insane. You could charge this 12,000 mAh battery in about 4 hours. There's a pretty nice silicone case that comes already attached to the phone, in case it wasn't thick enough already, and that rounds off the packaging. So let's get right into it. So in a couple of minutes, we will actually run a full battery comparison against the OnePlus 5T and the Samsung Galaxy Note 8. But just before we do that, let's take a little look around the phone. This is a gigantic smartphone in every single dimension: height, width, depth, and especially weight. And you might realize it looks very similar to the company's Doogee Mix 2, just on steroids. We've got 12 millimeters of smartphone body here with a mass of 300 grams. This makes some of the slimmer flagship phones on the market look like twigs in comparison. Even the Pixel 2 XL, not a particularly slim phone, looks like a little child. As you can probably imagine, this somewhat impacts its ability to be held comfortably. I mean, for sure it fits in your hand, but it doesn't leave your thumb much room to maneuver the smartphone, and its rather large 6-inch display. I gotta say though, I do appreciate how the company has tried to turn something which could have just been a really ugly block into something which has a bit of design flair. It's got aggressive lines, chrome accents, even the blue body of the smartphone. These are all brave choices, and I think they've pulled it off fairly well. Under the hood, the BL12000 is a lower mid-range phone through and through. It's packing 4GB of RAM and the MT6750T, more than enough to keep the UI running fluidly, enough for applications to load up fairly quickly, but it's not quite enough for demanding 3D graphics or any super intensive apps. And the last thing before we jump into our battery test is that we're running a pretty heavily skinned version of Android 7.0. Not the worst skin, but it is a little bit more on the intrusive side than I would like. Alright guys, this is it. We've got the BL12000, followed by the OnePlus 5T, and then the Galaxy Note 8. And this will be a pretty interesting test. All 3 smartphones are sharing a near identical resolution, and we've just set the screens to the same brightness. And we're going to run the same tasks between all 3 of them, and see which one drains first. We started things off with physics-based particles, and straight away the BL12000 has pulled ahead, by quite a significant margin. At least according to what the software is saying, it hasn't dropped a single percentage point, while the decent battery life Galaxy Note 8 has already lost quite a significant amount. And this is only exaggerated as we continue to play games on the phone. Somehow, whilst the Note 8 is now comfortably in the 80s, the BL12000 has only just managed to drop 1 percentage point. Alright, this is where differences are going to start to emerge. We are pulling up a CPU waster. This is pushing every aspect of the smartphone: its CPU, its GPU, its RAM, even its flashlight on the back, and so battery will start to change very quickly. Even so, whilst the Note 8 was hit pretty hard, it lost about 12 percentage points doing this, the Doogee only took a hit of 2. And let's take a look at the OnePlus 5T, because alongside the OnePlus 5, these 2 smartphones have completely killed the battery drain scene. These phones far outdo their capacity in terms of how long they last, but right now, compared to this new competitor, even the famed king OnePlus 5T is really not looking too great. Alright, so after 1.5 hours of high intensity battery drain, it's looking like the Note 8 has lost about 40%, the OnePlus about 30%, and the Doogee about 10%. So it's doing about 4 times as well as the Note 8, which is almost exactly in line with its battery capacity. As the test is going on, the trend seems to be becoming clearer, and the Note 8 is falling further behind the OnePlus 5T, which is falling further behind the Doogee. I'm pretty impressed, and at the same time, pretty surprised. I was half expecting the battery to be great in terms of capacity, but really poor in terms of efficiency. So even though the battery is huge compared to the other phones, I was half expecting it to only last a little bit longer. That's really not what's happening here. It's not going to be much longer before the Note 8 finally calls it a day, so just to finish it off, we've pulled up Geekbench. We're going to run that for about 10 minutes or so, And then we're going to switch over to a new application I've just discovered recently, which is a pretty good way of testing physics-based 3D performance. So as random as it is, you can basically add any number of animated creatures into a scene, watch them interact with each other, move around, and this is, as you can probably imagine, pretty taxing on the display, the GPU, as well as the CPU. So this is followed by a very quick final go on a battery waster, and then we're moving over to the camera where we're going to try and record some 1080p video. And as you can probably imagine, it's not long before the Note 8 finally bottles it and calls it a day, whilst the OnePlus 5T is sitting there with 23% remaining, which is fairly good, and the Doogee with 76. That's next level. Okay, so clearly the Doogee doesn't compete with these other two smartphones in its other aspects, the display, the performance, they're not even close. But what we can say for sure from this test is that in terms of the battery at least, its main selling point, they really have done a good job. It is truly gigantic, and it makes the phone gargantuan in every single proportion, but at the same time, if battery is what you need, then it really might be worth the sacrifice. Thanks a lot for watching, I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to smash that subscribe button down below, that would really help me out. My name is Aaron, this is Mr. Who's the Boss, and I'm signing out.